Sports Car Revolution with Jeff Loriman, Kazzer.
We got ourselves a pickup, buddy. Long weekend, party time.
These two guys.
Nobody knows better. It's sucking in my car.
Oh, nice.
And the man who wrote the book on the 4.6 mod motor, Sean Hyland. This portion of Sports Car Revolution is brought to you by APR and Stasis Engineering, racing to make your Audi better. Audi built its reputation on one thing, and that's quattro. That long-suffering device of four-wheel drive has gone 20 years and made them distinguished in virtually every form of motorsport. Now, the quattro system works exceptionally well for the street, but for the track, Paul Lambert and Stasis Engineering wanted to improve it even more so that the car came off the corner better. Now, this is not a sexy ingredient. It isn't shiny, it isn't bling, and it doesn't have Stasis Engineering engraved onto a stainless steel nameplate. However, what it does do is it improves the performance of the car, especially on the track, dramatically. Our drivers had a crack at it, but first let's check in with Paul Lambert and talk about that system specifically.
We've changed the center differential and we've changed the rear differential in the car. And we've done this because we've put a lot more power to the car, and we're looking to change the character of the car a little bit. We're adding to add a little bit more sports feel to the car. It's going to squat down, it's going to come out of a turn, and I want it to really put down power when it comes out of that turn. So the center differential comes from the manufacturer. It's a great system. It's a Torsen torque biasing differential. Has a 2-to-1 bias ratio. That means it can put twice as much power to whichever side has more grip. And it does that ahead of the game, before you even realize it, which is great in this system. That is really not enough now that we've upped the performance of the car. So we've upgraded that from putting twice as much power to either the front or the rear, putting 4 times as much power to the front or the rear. So when you get on that car hard and you come out and you've got those 300 foot-pounds or more, instead of overwhelming the front tires, it keeps putting it to the rear as it gets more grip, and it just gives you more grunt out of the turns. It's very apparent to the drivers. The rear differential has also been upgraded. In the standard vehicle, that's an open differential, which means it's going to put power to whichever side has less traction. You'll tend to see a wheel spin up in that application. So you drive the vehicle harder and harder, and the weight begins to transfer across the vehicle, you end up with light tires. As we put more and more power in the vehicle and more power to the rear, we end up particularly with lighting up the rear tire. We see that coming out of turns. You see it spin up in the smoky tire. We get rid of that by putting a limited slip differential. In this case, it's a speed sensing plate type differential. It has approximately an 80% lockup when it finally spins up to speed, and it keeps those two wheels from slipping and spinning. And it allows the center differential to put even more power to the rear and get even more grunt out of the turns. Very apparent to the driver, very apparent when you come out of a good tight turn.
We had the opportunity to take the car on a track. Going through a corner was amazing with how the suspension was laid out and the sway bars, how the car would actually transfer the weight and the power would get laid down so much better because the transfer of the weight was going to the rear. And the front tires are pulling you through, but yet the rear tires are helping you push through. It's just an amazing combination that just blew my mind in the wet weather.
This is one of the best project cars we've actually built. It's very fast with incredible grip and absolutely a riot to drive. Switch the diffs around so that there's a lot less understeer. You can drive it with some oversteer, and it's very easy to control. A really fun car to drift.